I never thought betrayal could taste this bitter, like swallowing a cocktail of heartbreak and regret while watching the world keep spinning without you. And yet, there I was, in the marble hallway of Griffin Enterprises, clutching my chest as the engagement announcement blasted through the speakers, my legs giving way beneath me. I swear I could hear my own life mocking me as I crumpled to the floor, a mixture of dizziness and humiliation drowning every thought. "You were supposed to be mine, Ethan," I whispered to the empty space beside the grand staircase. His laughter, so polished and detached in every memory, now felt like shards of glass inside my ribcage. He was standing there, smiling at her, the woman with perfectly tailored elegance and a grace I could never match. I wanted to scream, to tear down the walls of the room just to shake him awake, but my body betrayed me. One heartbeat later, the world turned black. When I woke up, the light was soft and unfamiliar, filtered through thin curtains in a modest apartment far from the chaos of skyscrapers and stock tickers. My head throbbed, and my heart felt like a runaway train. I tried to sit up, but something warm, solid, and unnervingly calm caught my wrist. "Easy," a voice murmured, steady and low. My eyes met his and my breath hitched. He was tall, broad-shouldered, a calming presence that made the air feel warmer, the world quieter. His hazel eyes were intense but not threatening, full of a kindness that contrasted sharply with the jagged edges of the betrayal I had just endured. Where am I?" My voice cracked, trembling under the weight of confusion and something else I couldn't quite name. "You're safe," he said simply, squeezing my hand lightly. "I found you passed out outside your building. You had a rough night." My heart skipped. My fingers tightened around his, instinctively. There was an alpha's reassurance in his touch, firm, protective, yet careful not to dominate. A stranger, and yet a strange familiarity crawled under my skin. "Two don't even know you," I stammered, panic clawing at my chest. "You don't have to," he replied softly. "Just breathe. We have time." The way he said it, the quiet confidence in his tone, made my pulse hammer in a rhythm that felt dangerously intimate. I could feel every line of his body through the faint fabric of his shirt, the subtle warmth radiating from his skin. I wanted to pull away, to retreat into my shame and heartbreak, but part of me, a deep, desperate part, wanted to lean in and never leave. I couldn't stop the questions that tumbled from my lips. "Who are you? Why are you holding my hand?" My voice was barely above a whisper, trembling like a leaf in a storm. "My name is Lucas," he said, and the sound of it made something flutter uncomfortably in my chest. "I'm just someone who doesn't want you to be alone." Alone. The word hit harder than anything Ethan had ever done. I felt tears prickle the corners of my eyes, frustration and relief tangled into a knot in my throat. For months, I had been chasing the ghost of a love that no longer existed, clinging to memories that smelled of cologne and boardrooms. And now, here was Lucas, alive, real, breathing beside me, offering something I didn't even know I wanted yet. The room smelled faintly of coffee and citrus, lived in but welcoming. The light caught on the dust motes floating lazily in the air, and for the first time in days, I felt the raw edges of panic soften. My grip on his hand tightened, and I realized, with a mix of fear and curiosity, that my body remembered what my mind refused to acknowledge. Safety, warmth, a tentative closeness that promised more than fleeting comfort. Lucas seemed to sense my hesitation. "You can let go if you want," he murmured, a hint of amusement in his voice. "I won't take it personally." I wanted to laugh through the tremor in my chest, but instead, I shook my head. The simple act of holding his hand felt revolutionary. It was defiance against heartbreak, against the world that had decided I should suffer quietly, and somehow against every instinct I had cultivated to guard my heart. I wanted to trust him. Why do I feel like I can trust you?" I whispered, embarrassed by the admission. Lucas's smile was soft, almost secretive. "Because some things can't be explained. Sometimes you just know." And maybe he was right. Maybe, after betrayal and pain, after falling and waking in an unknown world, Trust was not a choice but a necessity. My heartbeat began to slow, the tremors in my fingers easing as I took in his presence, the warmth of his hand, the steadiness in his eyes. I felt something stir in me, a cautious hope, a fragile but daring curiosity that I hadn't allowed myself in a long time. Outside, the city was humming with life, indifferent to my suffering and my relief. Inside, there was only this quiet bubble of closeness, the soft intimacy of two bodies sharing a space, two hearts cautiously beginning to align. I realized with a shiver that the world could wait, that the past could be mourned later. For now I had Lucas, and for now that was enough. Days passed in a blur of soft sunlight and quiet moments that felt stolen from reality. Lucas never pushed, never asked for more than my presence. Yet every shared smile, every brush of our fingers, built a connection I hadn't thought I could feel again. I began to talk about myself, not just the curated, controlled version I showed the world, but the shattered, anxious, desperate parts Ethan had exposed. And Lucas listened, truly listened. One evening, as twilight bathed the apartment in a golden haze, I found myself sitting on the edge of the couch, trembling as I recounted the engagement announcement. Lucas sat beside me, his presence a steady anchor, his thumb brushing softly over the back of my hand. "You didn't deserve that," he said, voice low but firm. "None of it. Not him, not the heartbreak, none of it." I wanted to argue, to say I should have expected it, that love always ended this way for me. But the warmth of his gaze stopped the words. His eyes were patient, gentle, yet undeniably honest. There was no judgment, no expectation, only a quiet invitation to feel again. I don't even know why I'm reacting like this," I admitted, voice barely above a whisper. I shouldn't care, and yet my breath caught, and I realized I was trembling again. This time, not from fear or heartbreak, but from desire, from the raw intensity of emotion I hadn't allowed myself to feel in months. Lucas's hand found mine again, fingers interlacing with ease. "Because you're human, because you feel, because you've been holding yourself back for so long that when someone actually sees you, it overwhelms you." I looked up at him, our faces inches apart, and in that moment, the world outside ceased to exist. The city lights flickered through the window like distant stars, and I felt the distance between us shrink with every heartbeat. I wanted to reach out, to close the space, but a flicker of fear held me back. Lucas leaned closer, not pressing, just letting his presence speak. "You don't have to be afraid," he murmured. "Not with me." That was all it took. The dam I had built around my heart shattered in an instant, and I leaned in, brushing my lips against his in a tentative, trembling kiss. The world tilted, every nerve in my body alight, a warmth spreading from my chest through my limbs. Lucas responded with the same delicacy, his lips gentle yet commanding, a quiet reassurance that Thesis wasn't fleeting. Hours passed like minutes as we sat entwined on the couch, words unnecessary, hearts speaking louder than language ever could. I felt myself relax in a way I hadn't since before Ethan, before betrayal, before the walls had gone up. I realized then that love didn't have to hurt to be real. In the following weeks, our bond deepened. Lucas didn't just save me from a single night of despair. He became a presence in every small moment. Morning coffee shared in the sunlit kitchen, laughter echoing over spilled cereal. Evenings curled up with blankets and soft music, our hands finding each other naturally. It was in these tiny, unremarkable moments that I felt a profound connection, a sense of belonging I hadn't dared to imagine. One rainy afternoon, as we walked through the park, the city shimmering under the drizzle, Lucas stopped and turned to me. His coat was damp, hair sticking slightly to his forehead, and I noticed the way his eyes softened in the rain light. "Look at me," he said, gently tilting my chin up. I obeyed, heart hammering, pulse racing in a rhythm I had forgotten existed. "You don't have to be anyone but yourself with me. I like you, every part of you, even the parts you think are broken." I laughed, a little breathless, a little incredulous. "You really mean that?" "I do," he said simply, eyes unwavering. And I want you to know, I'm not going anywhere. The words struck deeper than anything Ethan had ever said, and I felt tears prick my eyes. I nodded, unable to find a voice that could carry the magnitude of what I felt. Lucas pulled me into his chest, and the world narrowed to the two of us, a universe contained in the warmth of his arms. Weeks turned into months, and I learned the rhythm of life with Lucas. The lingering pain of betrayal faded like fog under the morning sun, replaced by trust, by tenderness, by the electric thrill of mutual affection. One evening, as the city skyline glimmered in twilight, he took my hand and whispered, "You know, I've been waiting for this moment since the first time I saw you." I tilted my head, a smile tugging at my lips despite the remnants of old wounds. "Waiting for what?" "To tell you that I love you," he said, eyes glinting with sincerity and mischief. "And that I'm not just here to hold your hand when you're broken. I am here for all of it. The laughter, the tears, the mornings, the nights, everything." I laughed, a shaky, joyful sound, and for the first time in forever, I believed it. I believed in love again, not the cruel, fleeting kind I had known with Ethan, but the kind that endured, that grew, that healed. As rain began to fall softly outside, we kissed again, longer this time, letting the city hum around us, unnoticed. In Lucas's arms, I found safety, warmth, and a love I never expected but always needed. And as I pressed my forehead to his, breathing in the scent of him, I realized something profound. Sometimes, you have to lose everything you thought you wanted to find the love you were meant to have all along. The past was behind me, the pain remembered but no longer defining me. With Lucas, I learned that hearts could mend, that trust could bloom again, and that true love often came when you least expected it. And as the night embraced the city, we sat hand in hand, hearts entwined, ready to face whatever came next together. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.